Today on Network Africa, South Africa's President Jacob Zuma faces more calls to step down from government as the Mandela Foundation says he has failed. Police in Morocco have arrested 11 people in connection with the death of a fish seller allegedly crushed by a rubbish truck, raising protests over the weekend. Plus, Ethiopian Prime Minister Haile Mariam Desalegn shakes up his cabinet, dropping and moving some key allies. Let's begin Network Africa. Hello everyone, welcome to Network Africa. I am Amarachi Ubani. Let's begin with one of the stories trending in South Africa. President Jacob Zuma in court trying to block a report by the country's former anti-corruption chairman Thuli Madonsela. In the report are allegations that President Zuma let the wealthy Gupta family wield undue political influence in his government. Though the Gupta family has denied any wrongdoing, the president says the report is unlawful and he has not been given the chance to take a good look at it. Ms. Madonsela's investigation was triggered by Deputy Finance Minister Mcebisi Jonas, alleging that the Gupta family had made a mockery of their hard-earned democracy by offering him the finance minister's post last year. He said he rejected it. The Guptas accused him of political point. The family, which arrived to South Africa from India in 1993, has built up holdings in mining, travel and media. It also has a huge interest in computers, air travel, energy and technology. But President Jacob Zuma continues to be in the eye of the political storm in the country. Calls for him to step down just keeps growing. Adding their voice now to the mix is the Mandela Foundation, which says he has failed. The non-profit Nelson Mandela Foundation, whose board consists of 10 prominent South African academics, politicians and journalists, called on the African National Congress, the liberation movement once headed by Mandela and now led by Zuma himself, to change its leadership. The ANC, which is the ruling party, has had several of its members calling for the 74-year-old president to step down also. But those higher up in the echelon of power have blocked such calls. There's a big march planned for tomorrow in the capital, Pretoria, to demand, among other things, that the president resign. The president, however, remains oblivious to the calls, choosing instead to ignore them. In the meantime, it appears the protests in Morocco over the death of a fish seller on Friday happens to be growing in a different direction. 31-year-old Mohsini Fikri was said to have been crushed by a dirt truck while he was trying to retrieve his fish after police seized him. We saw rare protests over the weekend extending to yesterday, Monday, across the northern city of Al Hoceima. Police announced today they had arrested 11 people in connection with his death. Meanwhile, well-known Moroccan website He Press posted a video showing the victim's father saying he does not want his son to be the cause of sedition and that he trusts the investigations being carried out. Authorities in the Democratic Republic of Congo have recovered the bodies of 6 people, members of the opposition, who were killed during the September 19th and 20th demonstrations in the city. The bodies were brought from a morgue in Kinshasa, the capital, and about 2,000 people gathered for the funerals. President Joseph Kabila was due to step down next month at the end of his second and last term, but a deal brokered by his government with one faction of the opposition proposed to keep him as head of state until April 2018. And that's when the next presidential election will be organized. The main opposition parties, including Etienne Tshisekedi's UDPS, have rejected the deal. A promise to maintain pressure on Mr. Kabila to step down. The bodies of the supporters are expected to be buried today. We can now Go back to our major story today, which is President Jacob Zuma in the eye of the storm, calls for him to step down, as well as him trying to block an anti-corruption report. Our South Africa Bureau Chief Betty Dibia joins us now for more on the recent developments. Betty, glad you could join us on Network Africa.
Thank you, Omar.
Why does President Jacob Zuma want the Madonsela reports blocked?
As he stated earlier, just before the former public protector wanted to end her tenure in the middle of last month, he said he didn't have enough time to consult with her, as well as interview the witnesses that they did. Of course, she wouldn't agree with that because, according to her, there were several meetings that were scheduled that nothing actually came out of, and they kept moving and no reason was given to her. He feels that he didn't have enough time to especially interview the witnesses. But we have one of the witnesses who was questioned by Chuli Madonsela, that is Faki Mentor, who is a former MP of the ANC. She is intervening in that court case that we saw today, and she's saying that she's one of those who refused to be interviewed because, according to her, it was an attempt to get some of the witnesses intimidated. That's her own version of it. So he feels that he hasn't had enough time to have his own side or speak to the witnesses.
Betty, the president, of course, says the report is unlawful, and that's because he says he's not had time to look at them. But could the allegations be true?
Well, we've had people as big as in political stature as the MP, former MP that I told you about, Faki Mentor. We also have a respected Deputy Minister of Finance, that's Kadisi Jonas, who said he was actually offered the job when Nhlanhla Nene was fired from the job in December last year, that he was offered that position if he wanted to. Of course, it's not for free. There are issues you have to agree to or conditions, but he didn't accept it. He said that was in a telephone